Hello everyone. Let's go back to discuss about the reservation divisions. The unit 1 we're talking about the making a reservation form and maybe come from individual travel or group travelers. The unit 2 you should pay attention on preparing a sale, which means you may contact with potential customers. So you should understand you may interact with them and talking about your hotel locations or your history information and layout such as that and what kind of rooms, size or guest rooms, amenities, security, or some facilities, and what kind of food or beverage in your restaurant, outlets, business hour, menu, seating capacity, and types of seating or special promotions. That means when you have a call from the outside, the potential guests, they may have a lot of questions for your hotels. Not only just three parts, but may also have a different kind of information they want to need. So when you working on a reservation list divisions, you have better know some knowledge or some dialogue skills with these potential guests. Okay. So based on the discussions, they may ask how many rooms, seating capacity, service, and offer menu. So you have to make sure you have a lot of information and you are familiar with your hotels. You should understand what kind of requests or they want to have some facility or service and you can satisfy them. And next part, it's about not only in the meeting, banquet facilities, or some what kind of guests they want to send them, or they want to book a hotel reservation into your business. And then they may have some transportation service they need. And do you provide that? Or is available for booking transportations? So they may have a variety of questions they want to ask. So you may have a better understand the whole information for your hotel. You should understand and be familiar with your hotel or some dialogue, conversation skill and knowledge. And then the potential customer they may ask you, do you have any facilities related to recreations? So what kind of recreational facilities you can provide for them? And a potential guest they may ask you about the business information such as what kind of business or conference facilities you can provide it, right? Do you have any projects and how many seat capacities in your conference room? And do you have a high-speed Wi-Fi or any accessories related to holding a conference? Next part is about a potential guest maybe a tourist or they still is just like a businessman after holding a conference. When businessmen participate a conference, after that they may ask you, do you have any tourist attractions near your hotels. So you have to understand and reply their requirements. And then they may ask you, do you have provided some bicycle? Or like I said previous, do you have a provide transportation service? I believe they will have a different kind of questions related to tourists or business or recreation, just like leisure facilities. And you have to understand not only from less extra service or facilities, what kind of things you should have or provide. Be aware, you understand. When we're talking about a potential customer, they may have different questions. Okay, so that's part three. When we're talking about a hotel business, you should understand and you should have a prepare a service center, or sometimes we can call it as a room service. About these divisions, we almost talking about what kind of service you can answer and provide immediately. And now I make a list like a housekeeping service. I believe in the majority of hotels, they should have provided this service. And you may have a call to come from your guests. They're asking, could you please help them to type a document or send a document fax them? And do you have any meeting rooms they want to rent, or business service, laundry service, and leaving a voice message, post service, and some service related to equipment rentals, like a car, video, a printer, or notepad, computer, any something like IT applications. Or, like I said previously, handle transportations, airline tickets. In some hotels, they almost help your guests to do that. Here's a note. When we're talking about the full service hotel, they may divide the different kind of divisions with a different service. But if you run in a small type, I mean the small size, the small scale hotels, some divisions, they are combined into one department with the whole services. Okay, so I will make some example or some scenario to talking about when you work in a service center, which means you have a lot of chance, to contact with your guests. Now, the first scenario is talking about typing document or sending faxes. Just remember that when you contact with your guests, they may asking you to help them about the document or some paperwork. The first thing you have to remember the list of procedures. The first one, to make sure, ask your colleagues for help if you cannot recognize the guest's requirement, which means you can be just prepare or you almost understand the guest requirement, but actually you cannot really figure out what their requirement. Okay, shortly speaking, if you really not understand, I believe some employee at the first time, they may say, yeah, I know that. But if you are not recognized clearly, you do something wrong, I think the consequence will be worse. So the first part, you have to make sure if you really cannot understand or recognize their requirements, you have better to ask your colleagues to help you. And then do not bother your guests with one or two words or two questions at one time. That means you have to make sure the one question by one time and then ask it. Then the next step, just practice and recognize of the handwriting whenever you have a free time. Then the next part is about your hands. That means if you work in a service center, just like the front desk reservation, you have to make sure you always keep your hands clean. Otherwise, when they ask you to do some paperwork, the documents handled by you will become dirty. Okay, this is about typing document and sending faxes. And next scenario is about the room service. Like I said previously, when you work in this part, you have a lot of chance to contact your guests. They may asking you the different room service, not only usually here like a housekeeping service. Okay, they may asking some food, sending food or beverage or drink or whatever into their rooms. So here are several notes you should pay attention on that. Okay, the first one is about, we almost call it as a 20 minutes before delivery. Some guests they may access some water or some candy bars or some services. You can prepare that. So the stage should set up other items on a preset tray or trolley. The standard is just like a table setup in a Western restaurant. I believe guests always usually give you a call and ask, could you please send some waters into their room, right? If you prepare these items on a trolley, I believe you can send them into the guest room immediately. The second one is about the start at the earliest required time. Keep delivering until finished. Just imagine that when the guests are asking you to send the water or some drinks, you can say that I will be sending into your rooms in 40 minutes. Just like an example, the 40 minutes. And then you really send it within 20 or 30 minutes. Yeah, I know they cannot be so long. I just make example. Maybe they ask your service, you say that in 20 minutes or 10 minutes. My point is that you give them an expectation, but the time you have to make sure you cannot take this service with a long time. So you can give it a long time, but you really give them in a short time. They then they cannot satisfy or satisfies. You understand what I mean? Short speaking, give him a long time, and then you finish it with a short time. The third one is about your announcement. When you send in some their water or some drinks, before going to your guest, before going to the guest rooms, you should announce a room service before going to their room. The last one, you can set a tray down according to the guest requests. Okay. And next stage, it's about the payment. Yeah, obviously, all service procedures that we're talking about, they may relate to something should be paid or something should not be paid. If your service should be paid, you have to present the bill and ask the guest to make a signature on your receipts or some note. And then, as the room service staff leave the guest room, and you should say something like, I wish you have enjoyed our arrangement, our service. When you got their receipts or notes, and then you make sure you have to be polite and give them a wish. When you go back to your room service center, you have to make sure the bill or note or receipt to give them to your order taker, who will post it to the guest account. Because when a guest into your hotel, generally speaking, we don't ask them to pay it right now or check the credit card. We always put it into a bill. When they depart, the checkout, the accounting center will make sure how much money or how much should be charged. Okay? So, this example just like talking about a student service. But just know that, like I said previously, when you work on these service divisions, the guests, they may ask you a lot of different kind of questions or ask different kind of services. So not just only showing on this list. Okay. And next part, it's about the making a call service. Sometimes you may or you should answer and transfer the outside code. So you have to remember that. You have to always answer the telephone with the 3 rings. This is very important. If you answer the rings by or after 3 or more rings, the guest or outside call, I think you may think about this hotel now with a good service or hospitality training. So you have to answer within 3 rings. If the call is coming from the outside, you have to make sure you should answer with a kindly and clearly and welcoming voice. For example, you can answer like this statement: good morning or good afternoon or good evening. This is hotel or Sheraton Hotel. How may I help you? And if the call is from the inside the hotel, which means this call definitely comes from the guests. So this is statement, you can apply that. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening. The operator, your name, like John speaking. How may I help you? Okay. And this is making a call service examples. And then we take a short break. I will introduce another example when you working in a service center. Okay, let's take a short break.